To celebrate the return of the Premier League, Tifo is offering 40% off an annual subscription to The Athletic for a limited time only. Please see the link in the description for more details. Since the Bundesliga restarted on May the 16th, home wins have been hard to come by. The first round of games, from the 16th to the 18th, saw only one home win as Dortmund beat Schalke in the Ravia derby, 3 draws and 5 away wins. And this general trend has held. Since the restart, home wins are down significantly and away wins are up. Since 1992-93, both the Bundesliga and the Premier League have had a very similar home win percentage. While there's been significant difference in some seasons, as much as 10% more in one league than the other, when taken over the whole period, the percentage is almost the same. And it's in line with what was happening in the Bundesliga before the restart. Both leagues have seen a slight downward trend over time, but it's not enormous. The Bundesliga has been slightly more varied in its extremes. The Premier League has only had 2 seasons where the home team won 50% or more of games, while the Bundesliga has had 6, but none since 2003-04. So, home advantage is a notoriously tricky subject. Few control cases exist by which we might compare a normal home fixture to others to see what advantage home status confers. Generally though, there are 3 key things identified: fans, familiarity, and travel. Now, travel is largely a moot point in the modern game, as accessibility has improved exponentially and teams can travel in greater comfort. Nonetheless, as an article by Jack Lang and Michael Cox in The Athletic showed, island teams such as Las Palmas, Maritimo and Catania win a much higher proportion of their points at home than would be expected of an average team in a European league. As that article points out, looking at Portugal, Italy, Spain and France, all nations where top leagues have had island sides in the last decade, the average percentage of points won at home across leagues that decade was 60.5%. For mainland sides, that percentage dropped slightly to 60.1%, but for island teams, it's a much higher 66.2%. However, one can assume that this is not really an issue in either the Bundesliga or the Premier League. Familiarity could be a factor, but such psychological intangibles are not only hard to measure, but due to the tiny number of games played at neutral venues, it's hard to draw any inference. Looking at the value of fans is possible, but again, inconclusive. But there are 2 helpful case studies, according to Omar Chowdhury of 21st Club. In the UEFA Youth League, fixtures mirror the Champions League proper, but have an average attendance of 1,000 compared to the 40,000 for the senior competition. Here, the home teams score 18% more goals than the away teams, compared to 41% in the Champions League, indicating that fans account for roughly half of home advantage. And matches played behind closed doors offer an insight. In 40 such games played in UEFA club competitions between 2004 and 2015, the home team scored 15% more goals than the away team. But home teams actually won 14 and lost 14. This suggests that fans account for close to all of home advantage, since teams barely maintained their home advantage without them in that sample of results. But neither of these are clear explanations. There aren't enough fixtures or other controls. But fans' presence clearly has some effect. So, is this the explanation for the Bundesliga results, and will it be reflected in the Premier League? Well, perhaps surprisingly, in the Bundesliga, the average expected goals for and against for home teams has barely altered since the restart. Home XG has fallen slightly, but not enough to account for a plus 20% drop in wins. And away XG has stayed the same, despite teams winning more on the road. This could suggest that overall performance has altered little, but something else is happening, and that is the effect of the absence of fans. Or it could suggest that once teams acclimatise to the oddity of a post-pandemic restart, things will return to some sort of normal, in results at least. To celebrate the return of the Premier League, Tifo is giving away 40% off annual subscriptions to The Athletic. If you're in the UK, that's just £3 for a month or 10p a day. With a dedicated journalist for each team, we at The Athletic care about your club. And with us, you'll get unrivaled coverage with the same care taken for the smaller teams as the big. Please find the link in the description to sign up, and thank you for supporting Tifo.